Something else that's been kind of a whirlwind of a ride has been the play from Arch Manning this season. How would you assess that so far? Obviously, there were a lot of expectations coming into the season. What's your assessment there?
Yeah, great question. I think that, with Arch Manning, I think that there was a lot of internal pressure and external pressure. And I think the internal outweighed the external. I think a lot of what was going wrong with Arch early was, the space between his two ears, and that you could see the mechanics that he even displayed last year just falling apart. And you could see just the rushing and the pressing and making decisions that were, just extremely ill-advised versus much lesser competition. And I think that Florida woke the whole team up, but even woke Arch up as well. And luckily, they've bounced back from that. And Arch specifically has shown that despite what Texas' season ends like, you've seen a guy who's picked himself up off the ground. I think it was like before the Mississippi State game. Like there's this crazy statistic out that said Quinn Ewers in the total amount of games last year was put on the ground 70 times. Arch Manning has already been put on the ground 70 times, and that was before the Mississippi State game. So that
Wow.
kind of shows you really where a lot of the problem was is that, yeah, Arch probably felt like he had to speed up because he was having people in his face, before he even really had a time to go through the second or third or fourth read. And that puts a lot of pressure on a young quarterback. The game is already extremely fast. Then your offensive line is having to speed it up for you even more, and it just creates problem on top of problem on top of problem. And luckily, thankfully, Flood and Sark, they've kind of gone through this little like let's mix and match and find a good mixture of like what's our best five starting line. And I think we've come to a conclusion that we've got some guys there that may not be like their first position, but they're the best athlete at that time, and we need them out there. And you've seen some really promising signs from Texas in the last two games that they played.